Okay, so I just want to apologize for not being able to get out the WebEx recording earlier today. Unfortunately, we're having some technological issues with the WebEx recording. So I just decided to go ahead and do a separate recording for the orientation so that way then you all could get started as soon as possible. So let me go ahead and get started by introducing myself. My name is Kriya Perry. I'm going to be your lecture instructor. As you probably saw, this is a hybrid course. So what that means is you will have your lecture online, but the lab will actually be in person. And this is a fast track course. So it is fast and furious. It is an 8-week course. So please keep in mind that this is kind of like taking 2 anatomy and physiology courses together in the first 8 weeks. Okay. So, hang in there with me. But I am going to give you an idea of how to manage your time for this course. And I'm hopefully also going to give you an idea of how much time you will need for the course as I go through the orientation, because I want to make sure that you have the right amount of time to put into this course. We want you to be successful. Again, our goal is to see you be successful in this course, to do what we need to impart the, appropriate knowledge on you so that you can carry that on to either your pre-nursing program or, pre-dental, pre-med, whatever program, whatever health professional program that you're going into. We want to make sure that we get you started on the right track. We want you to be successful in that program. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the Canvas course here. I have it in the student view, so it should look just like this for you. This will be your home page. This is kind of where you can always come back to orient from. So if you scroll down from here, it will talk about how to get started in the course. One of the things that you want to do first off is go ahead and download Respondus Lockdown Browser and Monitor if you have not done so already, or if you haven't taken an online course. If you have taken an online course through Mesa Community College, and you probably already have this. Now our class is going to be part of the I Belong program. So you should be able to also, take your exams if you need to on your iPad as well. And it should come with Respondus Lockdown Browser and Monitor already loaded for you. So as a heads up, if you don't know what the I Belong program is, it's a program that Mesa Community College is kind of trialing through Apple. And what they're doing is they're giving basically a free iPad for the semester. And then you can use that iPad to do, your coursework. You can use it to study some of your lab materials. You can actually, I would suggest, I can talk to Dr. Chakar about this, but I'm assuming she's going to suggest the same thing, that you actually bring your iPad to lab with you. And that way, then you can actually go online and look at the online resources to help you in identifying the different things that you need to in lab. So hopefully this iPad will be, very beneficial for you. What I don't know is if you're taking 202 for the second 8 weeks, we don't know whether or not you're going to have to check it back in and then check it back out once you start 202. So we're hoping maybe you could just keep it until you finish 202, and then you have to turn it back in after that. But again, I'm not sure on the details on that. But so what this means is that next week, when you go in for lab on Wednesday, go ahead and try to plan some time to route by the library at the Red Mountain campus, and you can actually check out your iPads there. So, and I'll try to send out a reminder prior to Wednesday about that as well. So really quickly here again, you do need to have Respondus Lockdown Browser and Monitor. This is for the exams, not the practicals. Sorry, that was left over from my all online course. So it'll be just the exams. The practicals will be taken in person. Thank goodness, because they're much easier, I think, to take in person. to help you out through the course, we do recommend that you look at some type of textbook. So whether or not you're like me and you like to have, a textbook on hand, I just am old school and I love to have a textbook on hand. We are going to be using the Mariab. So this is the Mariab and Hone text, Human Anatomy and Physiology. If you can see that there, hopefully. And you don't have to get the most current edition, because anatomy and physiology doesn't change. I shouldn't say that. There are changes in the text, but the basic, anatomy and physiology hasn't changed much over the years. So, if you're getting a textbook that's a little bit cheaper and maybe, 3 to 5 years old, that's going to be fine for this course. You do not have to have a textbook, so it's not required. You can instead, if you'd like, look for one of these free textbooks online. You can go to openstackscollege.org, and they do have free textbooks available for you online. So, but if you want to follow along, my lectures will follow along with the Mariab and Hone, which is the textbook that was recommended for this course. So that's the deal on textbooks. Again, my lectures are posted online. I do have my PowerPoints posted online, so you will have that in terms of, some of the actual verbiage that goes with the lectures. But like I said, it's always nice to have some other resource that you can refer to. So again, any textbook in whatever format that you can get that's affordable would be great. You can even check one out from the library. So there's that on the textbook. And you can always let me know if you have questions. We also highly recommend an anatomy atlas, some type of atlas that will help you in terms of, again, identifying these different things that you need to identify in lab, the different, anatomical structures as you're going through lab. It's nice to have an atlas for reference. We recommend Netter because Netter has a great atlas. But you can look on Amazon and see what's most reasonably priced for you. We don't require a lab book because the lab book is actually online. So all of those resources will be provided through Canvas online for you. Okay. And again, that's where your iPad can come in handy because you can just look up those labs on your iPad online. So again, the lockdown, this is all the information for downloading Lockdown Browser with Monitor. And again, you will be required to take your exams in Lockdown Browser with Monitor. So I actually, once you get this all set up, I want to make sure that we work out all of the kinks with Respondus prior to an exam because exams are stressful enough. So I hate to have you, all of a sudden you're getting ready to take the exam and it's the first time you're hopping on Respondus and you're like, oh, it's not working for me. So what I do is I offer an extra credit quiz. It's very easy. As soon as you download Respondus, hop on again you can just go onto that homepage. It's the very first link for Respondus Lockdown Browser Monitor, and then just come all the way down to the bottom and then go ahead and take the quiz. The quiz is very easy. I'll just show you what it's going to look like. So again, it's not going to allow me to do this because I'm the instructor. So let me go ahead and take it out of, let me leave student view for a second. And then I'm going to go ahead and go back here. And I'll show you what it looks like. But it has very easy questions. They're set up to be, very simple questions for you. So you can go through here. I'm just going to give you a little preview. They're like, this will be your first question. So again, this is a picture of it's not meant to be tricky. It's meant to be ridiculously easy, a chicken. Okay. So again, there's lots of easy questions here, just 5 easy questions. So that way, then we can ensure that Respondus Lockdown Browser and Monitor is working for you. So please keep in mind that you must have a web camera. So again, you have one on the iPads, you can use your iPad, or if you just are more comfortable using your laptop to take the exams, again, it needs to have the camera on. If you like typically block your camera, you need to make sure you take that off. So it has to record you for the exam purposes. And usually it should give you an idea. Sorry, if you have my bright lights in the background there, but it usually should give you an idea of whether or not your head's in the picture. So I have it set up in the settings so that it should alert you if for some reason your head's out of the picture or something like that, or it's not picking you up because it's too dark. So again, that's the deal on Respondus Lockdown Browser Monitor. If you have any more questions about that, please just let me know. But that hopefully will kind of get you started. So, and that's just to take that extra credit quiz. You'll see I actually have that. I'll show you in the syllabus in just a minute, linked there so that it will remind you to kind of take that quiz. So let's go ahead and go on. Again, from this homepage, you're going to see I kind of link you to all of the different parts of the course that you're going to need here. You've got the syllabus and schedule, which we're going to go over in just a minute. We have technical help and support. So you can go to this. I'm just going to click on this real quick, and this will give you some links for, like, if you're having some issues with Canvas, you can go to Canvas support. If you're having other online technological issues and you need the help desk, then you can put in a ticket here. And then here's some other, again, student support services. So that's just kind of what that tab will take you to. Again, I'll come back to the syllabus and schedule here in just a minute. Here is your lecture instructor and then your lab instructor. So I probably should actually take some time before I jump in too much to introduce myself. And then Dr. Chakar will introduce herself in lab. But if you'd like to know a little bit more about her, you can read about her here. I think for some reason her pictures aren't showing up and I'm not sure why, but you're going to get to see her in lab anyway next week. So you'll have to tell her to make sure that she shows you. She's got a new puppy named Figaro, so you'll have to make sure she shows you some cute pictures of that. So again, Dr. Chakar, you will meet Dr. Chakar. Dr. Chakar and I, her name is Liz Chakar, have worked together for many years. Our teaching styles are very similar, so hopefully you'll find that it's not bumpy at all between having a different lab instructor and lecture instructor. Again, we are very, very similar in our teaching styles. So, and we actually enjoy teaching together. So let me go ahead and go back and I'll introduce you to myself now. So again, my name is Kriya Perry. You're welcome to address me as Kriya, Professor Perry, although I feel a little bit like I'm in a clue game. Although I just heard on NPR literally yesterday that, I guess they gave the Clue characters a makeover and they're much more modern looking. So maybe it's not so bad to, sound like Professor Plum. But anyway, so you're welcome to address me however you want. Mrs. Perry, whatever you're comfortable with. But I'm also comfortable with you just calling me my first name, which is Kriya. A little background on how I kind of came to teach anatomy. Oh, and this is my very large Great Dane that I have. You'll hear her in some of my videos. She claws at the door, and so I usually just allow her to come in so that she doesn't tear down my doors. But she'll pop up in a few of my videos, and I have a funny meme that I created for her on rigor mortis, so you guys will get to see that when we get to muscle contraction. A little background again on how I came to teach anatomy. So I started my studies, my undergrad at NAU, and I finished up my graduate studies at Arizona State University. I did my graduate research in collaboration with Barrow Neurological Institute, where I was very lucky to have the opportunity to work with a novel plant compounds that I derived from a plant called Scutellaria bicalensis. Very fancy name there. It's a very fancy name for a nice plant with that purple flowers. And but what we had kind of looked at was the fact that there was some initial research that kind of indicated that there were some anti-cancer properties of this plant. And so I actually ended up, making extracts and testing those extracts on stage 4 glioblastoma multiforme cells at Barrow Neurological Institute. Very interesting study, and it actually was fairly successful. And now that has actually moved into the mouse model, which is the next stage. So kind of interesting research. I ended up, after finishing my graduate studies, I stayed on at Barrow Neurological Institute as a clinical research coordinator. I did that for various multiple sclerosis trials for a while. And so I got a very interesting comparison of bench research versus clinical research. So it was a really an interesting experience, and hopefully it's one that I can share with you if you have any interest in that. I'm always happy to talk more about my experience there, and I, bring in my clinical background whenever I can into my lectures. I have been teaching now for the last 15 years, so I'm not new to teaching. I love to teach just about everything and anything biology. I've taught all the anatomy courses, including online sessions as well as 8-week sessions. I also teach a marine biology course, Bio 145. It's one of my favorite courses to teach, and I like to do some comparative anatomy. So you sometimes will hear that squeeze through in my lectures. I try not to do too much, but just a little bit to keep things interesting for you. It's always interesting to see, how our anatomy compares to kind of some of our evolutionary ancestors. So in my spare time, I do love to do just about anything in nature: hike, bike, climb, scuba dive, explore new areas of Arizona. And I actually have taught a course called The Natural History of Arizona. And I really, really enjoy natural history. So, just kind of my hobby. I actually just yesterday was out at an expo volunteering there, holding chuckwallas and comparing them to Gila monsters and things like that. For the Odyssey Aquarium, they do a big conservation expo. So I love to do those types of things on the weekend when I can. I also used to, since I ask you to tell you one thing about yourself that, nobody else knows. My one thing about me that you probably wouldn't guess is that I actually used to work with rattlesnakes. So I did do some undergraduate, and not me personally, sorry. While I was teaching at Mesa Community College in person, I did have some undergraduate research projects going on with some of my students there. And we actually were tracking the movements of the rattlesnakes on campus. So we ended up implanting radio transmitters in them and then tracking their movements on campus. Kind of interesting. So I also am kind of doing a little side project with bullfrogs and looking at some of the diseases that impact bullfrogs, and mainly actually other frogs. Bullfrogs tend to be resistant to them, so that's why we're studying them. So we're studying some of these viruses and fungal diseases in frogs. So there's kind of my very, very rounded out interests in biology. So again, I love just about everything and anything biology. Lastly, much like Dr. Chakar, I do feel that anatomy just cannot be taught without mentioning zombies. Just can't be done. So you'll hear Dr. Chakar and I both include zombies in our lectures, labs, as well as the exams. So again, I look forward to getting to know all of you over the next 8 weeks. And, I hope that you don't feel that we have to, being virtually, taking this class virtually doesn't mean that we can't interact. So please, if you start to feel like you're falling behind and you need help, set up some time with me. I am happy to set up time with you anytime during the week. We can squeeze something in, and we can set up Google Meet or Zooms, whatever works best for you. Okay. All right. So I don't make this too long here. Let's go ahead and jump down here. I'm going to go ahead and go into the syllabus and schedule. And then after that, I'll take you through where I have your lecture materials: exam 1, exam 2, exam 3, exam 4. It's very organized. And then lastly, you can find all of your lab stuff here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and go back up here. Let's go through the syllabus real briefly. And again, I'm not going to go through each part of the syllabus. I'll just kind of go over the main parts of it, but it's, you can read what's in the syllabus. You are required to read the syllabus and then take a 20-point syllabus quiz. It's pretty easy, but that'll encourage you to take that time and read through the syllabus. So again, I'm just going to go through really briefly the kind of highlights of the syllabus. So please keep in mind that this is a hybrid 8-week format. So it is fast and furious. Again, your lecture is going to be all online, and then the lab is going to be in person. Okay. And so if you need the lab times here, depending upon what section you are signed up for, if you're signed up for 28903, your in-person lab will be Wednesday, Friday at 9:30. And if you're 28906, your Wednesday, Friday lab will be at 1 p.m. This again is in person on campus in the Saguaro building at the Red Mountain campus, in room S2023. Okay. And let me know if you have any other questions about that. Again, the lecture here is going to be all online, so that's why it's hybrid. So you will primarily be doing my lectures through YouTube and then the online resources that I provide you. If you need to get a hold of me, you can reach me through my email, my kriya.perry@mesacc.edu email, or honestly, the best way to get a hold of me is through Canvas Mail, because no matter where I am, I have the Canvas app on my phone and it will always pop up as you send me messages right away. And it's nice and easy for me to get back to you right away. You know, if I'm, in another class, or if I'm, waiting for my kids. I do have 3 kids, to pick them up from school or something like that. I can get back to you while I'm waiting. So the Canvas email is the fastest way for me to get back to you. I also give you my Google voicemail number. And the reason that I give you that number is it will ring through to me, when you're taking the exams online during the, scheduled time frame. I make sure that I have my phone available to me, because if for some reason you have an issue with some technological issue and maybe your computer died and then you had to restart it and you can't get back into the exam, please don't be afraid to call this number. The reason being is that it is actually much easier for me to go ahead and really quickly open right up back that exam. I can see what's going on, how long you've been online. I have all that access. So it's very easy for me to see, oh my gosh, your computer just shut down 5 minutes into the exam. I'll go ahead and reopen that for you. And then you can finish, it'll allow you to finish taking the exam from that point. So please don't be afraid to call me if you have a technical issue. Again, I know to be available during your exam timeframes. And I know your exam timeframes run till, midnight, 11:59 p.m. is when everything closes. I am, as you're going to find out, a late night owl. So I am always up. Don't be afraid to call. Okay. Again, here's all of the information for Dr. Chakar, and she'll talk about this as well, and the best way to get a hold of her via email. Also, again, she is the department chair. I apologize. My dog is interrupting here. But so she is the department chair and she is on campus much more often. So if, you need to schedule some time with her, she's much more available in person if you're needing some help in person. Also, if you would like to meet with me virtually, I am more than happy to set up some time for you on Google Meet or Zoom, just like we talked about. I'm not going to set up a certain hour yet unless you guys kind of come to an agreement. If there's a time maybe on Thursday that you would like me to have, I do have Thursday morning and Thursday afternoon available. If you guys would like a set time every week on Thursday that I'm available on Google Meet, I am happy to do that. It's just that usually nobody shows up. So I would rather have you guys tell me what your time frame is that you're available. And that way then I can go ahead and pick a time that might actually, work for you and that you would attend each week. So I'm more than happy to do that. Just please send me an email and let me know what time frames work best for you. So I think that covers all of that. You can go through the MCC course competencies. Here's just the general information on the course, obviously prerequisites, a Bio 181 or the equivalent. Again, gives you all that information on where to go for lab. You can read the course description. We kind of already talked about some of the required materials, but again, really quick, remember you do need to have that webcam to take your exams, your lecture exams through Respondus. So again, you can do that using your iPad through the I Belong program. You do also need a stable internet connection. And I do want to talk about this just for a minute, because when you're taking your lecture exams, sometimes I have images and things that kind of help you out with a question a little bit. They're not required for that question usually, but they usually are kind of like a hint to help you out. And if for some reason you have, your roommate or some family members that are streaming something large and it's eating up all your bandwidth, those images may not download and they may just take too long. So if you can, try to talk with your family, try to talk with, your roommates, whoever you have on your network, and say, hey, look, I'm taking the exam during this time frame. Can maybe, you watch your favorite show that you're going to stream, maybe an hour later. That way then I have the appropriate bandwidth I need for my exam. So that's just a big hint. It's been an issue for some students in the past when I've had images. And again, you need that Respondus lockdown browser and monitor, and you can read all about that here and download it here. There's even a link to a video there. Again, we already talked about the textbook. Again, copyright within the last 6 years, 5 to 6 years is usually decent. There's that OpenStax site that you can download that from. Instructional contact hours. So this is kind of important in terms of your time management. Please remember that this is a 4 credit hour course in 8 weeks, okay? I am not going to sugarcoat this. It is going to be fast and furious. If you can kind of just keep in mind, this is 8 weeks. You just have to get through this 8 weeks. But there is probably, if you're working, if you're taking other classes, if you have other outside commitments beside this course, this is kind of probably your life for 8 weeks between this and whatever else you have going on. Okay. So again, just try to keep in mind, just tell yourself it's just 8 weeks. It's just 8 weeks, but I have to get through this, and I have to get through this course. So I went ahead and put this up here in hopes that this would help you in terms of your time management. So please keep in mind that when we talk about this 4 credit hour class, this means that for each week, in a 16-week course, you would have 4 hours that you would have to put in for like what we call contact hours, where you would be either watching lectures or in lab. And that is for a 16-week course. So for an 8-week course, it's double that. So please plan to spend at least 8 hours of contact time. That means either watching my lectures or in lab with Dr. Chakar. Okay, that's direct instruction. And then on top of that, 8 more hours on homework studying, okay, weekly. That is what you need to be successful in this course. So we like to put that out there ahead of time. I will be very honest with you, the majority of the people that withdraw from this course and fail this course is because they just simply didn't have the time for it. That is the majority of our issues with students not making it through this course. So to help you out with that, I actually have a little extra credit assignment for you. You can click right here off of the syllabus page, and it should link you to this time management assignment. You do get extra credit for submitting this. So what you would do is you just go ahead. I'm not going to go through this time management presentation just for time purposes, but you can download this presentation, this time management presentation, click through the slides, read through the presentation. Then after that, you're going to download this time management weekly Excel sheet, okay? And just as instructed in the presentation, you're going to literally list out what you're going to be doing each hour of the day for a week, okay? And this is to help you figure out when are you going to squeeze in that 8 hours of study time each week, okay? And that, again, that's the minimum, okay? That's the minimum. If you haven't taken Bio 181 for a while, you probably are going to need even a little bit more time than that, because you're going to need more time for review. So again, my goal with this, having you do this as an extra credit assignment, is that you do this early on and you literally plan every hour of your day. So, if you don't get up until, 6:30, then you're going to put in here 5 to 6:30. You're going to box that out, sleep. Okay, you're still sleeping then. Then maybe you get up and you work out from 6:30 to 7. You put workout. You like to have a cup of coffee and eat breakfast. Okay, you're going to put that in there. And then, you're going to put your time going to, if you're going to work, okay, the time that you're going to leave the house, you'll put that in there. And that's your block to the time that you would actually walk in the door is your work time. Okay. So you want to be pretty accurate for your own, for yourself, not so much for me, but for yourself in terms of what your time management is going to be. And then you're going to go through and block out when, again, your study time is, when you can put your labs in there and all of that. So that way then you can see, how much time you're going to need for this. But also sometimes this is good for us because we can look at your schedule and we can go, look, like you've scheduled only 3 hours of sleep for each night. Like that's just not sustainable. Like you're not going to make it through this 8 weeks because you need more sleep than 3 hours a night. Okay. Even I'm a night owl that requires very little sleep, I can't do that. Okay. So hopefully this will help you to manage your time. Again, and see things like if you're taking, this class and you're taking like 2 other classes and you're working 20 hours a week and you have 5 kids, I don't know how you're going to fit all that in. So the idea behind this is really to help you manage your time. And please put that in there. I have kids. So, here in my schedule, I would put, from 3 o'clock to, 6:30 is family time. Okay. And then, maybe we do dinner. So, most of my time, and you can do that, obviously you need to have your family time. But, then make sure you put that in there and then be like, okay, the kids go to bed at 8. After that is when I'm going to work. Okay. So hopefully, again, this will help you out in terms of your time management. As you can see, I'm spending quite a bit of time on talking about this time management because it is the reason why I lose about 50% of you in some semesters. Not every semester, but there are some semesters, and I hate losing that many of you. I don't like it. It makes me feel terrible as an instructor. It's not why I teach. So my goal is to see you be successful. And this time management project has actually helped a lot of our students really manage their time. Okay, so enough about that. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the homepage just like you should. It's always, a good place to start. And we'll go back to this syllabus page. I'll finish off the syllabus and kind of talk about exams and grading. So there are going to be 4 lecture exams. They will be worth 100 points each. We'll also have lecture quizzes. There's going to be 14 lecture quizzes at 15 points each, but you get to drop one. So that's why it says 13 here. So that'll be a total of 195 points. Those lecture quizzes, those chapter quizzes, I'll show you their due dates, but they're always going to be due on a Wednesday and a Friday. So you usually each week will have a quiz due Wednesday, a quiz due Friday. And they will be over an entire chapter. They are designed for you to learn from them, as well as to get an idea of what types of questions I'm going to ask on the exam. So you will take those lecture quizzes, 2 lecture quizzes each week. You can take each quiz up to 2 times, okay? So if you really messed up the first quiz, you can learn from your mistake, take the second quiz. It does shuffle the questions as well as the answers. And there are a few quizzes where, you might get 1 new question if you take it, a second time. So usually I have 15, questions on each quiz, but usually I have a bank of like 18 questions. So again, most of the questions that you take the second time are going to be the same questions, which is nice. So hopefully those lecture quizzes should not only be a buffer, but an opportunity for you to learn and an opportunity for you to see how prepared you're going to be for the exam. When you get to the exam questions are not going to be the exact same questions from the lecture quizzes. Of course, I'm going to put a few of them word for word. A few of them will be, but not all of them, okay? So oftentimes they are usually on the same concepts though. So the concepts that I quiz you in the lecture chapter quizzes are going to be the same concepts that I'm going to quiz you on in the exam, okay? So the quizzes as well as the exams will always be due at 11:59 on the dates that I list in the schedule. So please make sure that you have enough time. Your computer, the time that it has on your computer may be slightly off from Canvas, and Canvas is the winner. So Canvas will shut you off at 11:59 Canvas time, okay? So what I'm saying is don't like work right up to that deadline. If you can, give yourself some buffer, okay? Let's see. So that covers the lecture exams and the lecture quizzes. And the lecture quizzes will all be taken through, through Canvas. They do not require Respondus, but the exams do. So the exams require Respondus, Lockdown, Browser, and Monitor. And then we have the syllabus quiz that will be over this syllabus. I'll show you this in just a minute. And it's worth 20 points, right? Easy 20 points it should be. And then you'll have the 4 lab exams that you will take in person with Dr. Chakar. And thank goodness, because it's a lot easier, believe it or not, to take them in person than it is to take them online. And so those will be worth 400 points. There is going to be a assignment that I have called the biology of skin color. It will be in the integumentary system when we get to that. And so it's a really great assignment. There is about a 20-minute video that you're going to watch on the basic biology and evolutionary history of skin color. It's an amazing video. And honestly, I just can't do it justice. So I now have given it as an assignment. So you'll watch that video and then you'll just write up a 2-paragraph summary and submit that in the assignments. You'll get that. I'll give more information about that in my weekly announcements. I will send you weekly announcements each week to kind of help you keep up with what you need to be doing. And then you'll have an article review summary that you're going to do. And again, I'll try to provide more information on this as this kind of extra assignment. This week, I'll try to provide you kind of a little bit more of a rubric for that. But basically, this article review summary is just a way for me to encourage you to be careful about the resources that you are getting your information from. Many of you, again, are going into the health professional, some health professional career, and you are going to have to stay up with, kind of what's current in your field. And so you need to know the right resources to go to. There is a lot, and I mean a lot, of misinformation out there on the internet, and I see it all the time. And so I want to make sure that, you are able to go and find the appropriate resources. So this assignment is going to require that you go to some type of primary literature source to find some type of research article. This is a nice, easy assignment for you guys. When I gave this, 5-10 years ago, there weren't very many online journals that you could get access to. Now you can get access to the online journal articles for many different journals. And so, you want to find a respectable journal that has an article that you're interested in. And that article can be anything that has to do with anatomy and physiology of one of the systems that we're going to talk about, okay? And so what I'm going to do is I will actually do the first post for you so that you get an idea of what's expected. So what you're going to do is you're first going to find that research article that you're interested in. Either download that research article or make sure that you can copy that link to that research article. And then you're going to go to the discussion board and you're going to write up, you'll say, I have an assignment for this. You're going to write up a 2-paragraph summary, pretty good summary of what is in that article. And then you're going to provide either the link or the actual PDF, a link to the PDF of that journal article. So again, the idea is really to get you into looking at the primary literature sources that are reliable resources for your field, okay? So again, I will go ahead and do the very first post, and I'm going to try to do this periodically anyway with any of the current events that I see that are coming up that are appropriate for that system that we're talking about that week. So again, I will do the, here actually tomorrow, I will do that first post for you. So you'll see that. So again, sorry, I can't ask if you have any questions. I usually would say, do you have any questions now? But if you do, please, again, just contact me and I'm more than happy to get back with you on that. So that should cover our point total. That brings us to 1,045 points. When we determine your letter grade will be determined by the percentage of maximum points that you earn. Okay. So the grading scale is as follows. 90% or above is an A. Okay. 80% to, 89.4% will be a B. Okay. So when we use, when we're determining what your letter grade is, it will be point-based, okay? And so I like to emphasize this because both Dr. Chakar and I will offer some extra credit throughout the semester, just like, again, you saw my extra credit time management exercise. Also, you'll see I build in extra credit into every exam. I believe Dr. Chakar is going to build in extra credit into the lab practicals as well. So by the time we get to the end of the semester, guys, if you're 30 points away from, getting the grade that you want, there is nothing that I can do. My hands are tied. I am bound by the points and the integrity because, again, as a professor, we have to maintain our integrity as well. I am bound by the points that you have. There is nothing I can do for you. So please, if you're having trouble and you start to see yourself slipping, you're not going the direction that you want, come see myself or Dr. Chakar early on in the semester so that we can help you with how to study and to get you in the kind of moving in the right direction. So just again, my kind of cautionary tale for you, because I have many students that come to me and they're like, all right, what can I do? Is there any extra credit? And there isn't. I can't give you extra credit. Again, I'm not allowed to do that. So there is no give there. I just always like to let you know that ahead of time. You can read through the class policies. I already told you about addressing me, Dr. Chakar. She'll tell you this in lab, but you can address her. She's pretty casual, just like me. You can call her Dr. Liz Chakar, professor, or you can even just, address her by her first name. So whatever you're most comfortable with. Also, just as kind of, hopefully this doesn't even need to be said, but please have tact. I know that sometimes you can be very frustrated because anatomy and physiology can be frustrating. Sometimes it's like learning a foreign language, right? So please just try to always be respectful in the manner in which you're asking questions if you can. We greatly appreciate that. Also have integrity. I know it's sometimes, easy to get panicked during a test, but again, just don't cheat. You're really ultimately cheating yourself if you do, because this is information that you are going to need to know. And it will eventually catch up with you. I do have a friend, I'm not saying that she cheated. She's actually a very good person. And she would have never cheated, but she is in her first semester of nursing school. She was, I should say, last semester. And she found it very challenging, and she actually didn't pass one of her courses, which was a huge bummer. So again, try to keep in mind that you need this information for you to be successful in the next step when you get into nursing school or, again, medical school, whatever it is that you're getting into. Okay, so that's enough on that. Again, you can kind of read through the rest of this. Missed lectures and exams and practicals. And the big thing is talk to Dr. Chakar and I. Please give us advance notice if you have, one of these excused absences, one of these reasons why you're going to have to miss an exam or practical. Please talk to us early on so that way then we can schedule that with you. I do know that some of you are going to be working during the only time frame that I could fit in the lecture exams. Just send me an email and I will set up a time specifically for you to take that exam, okay? So again, we can work with you, but you must communicate with us. You can't come to us like 20 minutes before and be like, oh yeah, by the way, I am going, I'm going to Mexico with my friends. I can't take this exam. So again, you just communicate with us. and talk to us early on so that we can make preparations. If you can, please try not to miss those lab practicals. That makes it really tough because those are hard to set up and they're in person. So, obviously, if you're like, if you're ill and, you're like vomiting, please don't come in. I once had a student do that. They came in and they're like, I'm really sick, I'm vomiting. And they're like, do you want me to stay? And I'm like, no, go, please, right now. Like, don't stay here and spread your germs. That's obviously a case where, we will work with you. But outside of that, in some of these emergency situations, it is really difficult to reset up the lab practical. Usually we have to do a truncated version of the lab practical, which really stinks because, it doesn't give you as much buffer in terms of missing questions. So that's my kind of cautionary tale. Try to make those lab practicals if you can. Again, if you're having trouble in this class, please come see me or Liz early on. I'm not sure how much I can say that, but we're very approachable. So please come see us. We're here to help. You're not bothering us. I get that all the time. People, I'm so sorry for bothering you again. You're not bothering us. I personally miss teaching in person. And so any interaction that I can have with you is great. So I love your questions. I never get tired of answering your questions. Please, please, please send me more questions and more and more. And lastly, try to have some fun. I know that sometimes anatomy can be difficult and boring, but both Dr. Chikar and I try to add some fun in there as well. Again, just make sure that you read through this entire syllabus. We have some tips for success here. Also, we have some ways to get help. Here's, I can do student hours with you via Zoom, Google Meet, whatever you need. I have my Google voicemail number. We can set up a time to, talk if you want to do that. And then again, of course, Dr. Chikar, you're going to see her in person. So, if you have any issues with lab, she's going to be there. You can also even talk to her about lecture, again, just not grades. So for, you're able to talk to either one of us about lecture or lab material. But if it has to do with grades, Dr. Chikar is who you want to talk to for your lab grades, and I'm who you want to talk to for your lecture grades, if that helps. Disability services, here's the information for that as well. You can read that. Classroom accommodations if you need that. If you have disabilities, please go through disability services. They're quite helpful. And then you can read this information. It's just kind of some extra information that, we put out here now on sexual harassment and our policies and protections for that as well. So you can read through all of that information there. And then we do have 24-hour online tutoring through Mesa Community College. So you can connect with an instructor or a live tutor. So here's all the information for that and how to access it through your MyMCC account. Hopefully you all know how to log on there. And then we also have the Learning Enhancement Center that you can get some online peer tutoring. And then you can also, Dr. Chikar will talk about this, but we actually have a life science tutoring lab, and it's right next door to the lab, and you can actually go in there if you need some extra study time with the models. We have all the models and things in there. It's a great resource. So, if you're ready on campus, you just did lab and you're like, oh, I'd like a little extra study time, just hop over next door if the lab's open, and then you have a tutor, you have access to a tutor as well as all of those study materials. There's a couple useful websites as well. And then I'm not going to go through all these, but here's kind of some of your frequently asked questions. So you can go through these as well. Many of them get answered as we kind of go through the semester. So I think that's it for the syllabus. Once again, you finish reading through the syllabus, go ahead and hop on and take this syllabus quiz here. And then you can do your time management exercise. The syllabus quiz, again, isn't that hard. I'll pull it up for you real quick here. So you'll just hop on here. I'll give you a little preview. It's very easy. Again, what is the best way to get a hold of your lecture professor? Okay, again, Canvas email is my best way. There are no required books for this course. That's true. There's nothing that's actually required of you, okay? So you can go through and take the syllabus quiz as many times as you want. It's just to ensure that you read the syllabus and kind of my assurance that you read the syllabus. Okay. So let me go back here again. I want to show you where you can get the schedule for the course here. So again, if you go to the syllabus and schedule page, and sorry, I didn't show you the very bottom of, so if you go right below those kind of frequently asked questions, you're going to see here I have the fast track lecture schedule and then the fast track lab schedule. So if you look here for this fast track lecture schedule, you'll see that every Wednesday and Friday I do have a quiz date. So again, that will be over that chapter of material. So your first actual quiz on the introduction and chapter 1 material will be on January 18th. And again, it will be due by 11:59 p.m. Please keep in mind, again, the quizzes, you don't need respondus, but the exams you do. So you'll see you have 2 quizzes each week, one due on Wednesday, one due on Friday. And then you'll have an exam on Saturday. I know that it's tough to have exams on Saturday, but I did not want to put them on Friday. And with the holidays here that I have here and here, there is just no way that I could squeeze in your exam on like a Wednesday or even Thursday. I just felt like that wasn't enough time. So you are going to have your lab practicals on Fridays, and then you'll have your exams Saturday afternoon. They'll open from 4 p.m. to 11:59 p.m. So you can take the exam anytime in between then, online in Respondus again. And so again, I'll send out more information on that prior to the exam, but that way then you can schedule for that. Now, I know that there are going to be some of you that couldn't attend the orientation because you worked and now you can't do the exam. If that is the case, you don't have to withdraw from this course, okay? Just contact me, communicate with me, and I will set up a very specific time for you to take your exams, okay? So again, like I said, just talk to me. So hopefully that this schedule should give you a good idea of how you need to prepare for the next 8 weeks. Again, I highly suggest you either print this out or input this schedule into whatever electronic, virtual resource that you have for your schedule. So that way then you can ensure that you have all of the due dates there, okay? So please do that. And then here is the tentative lab schedule. And so you can see the lab practicals here will be on Fridays. Okay. Also, she was very good about putting in when there's dissections and when you need to wear long pants and long sleeves. So again, do whatever you need to do with these schedules. I print them out so that I have them even for me as the instructor. The other thing in terms of schedules, if you drop down below on the syllabus page, and so let me go back here. Don't use this. If you use the syllabus link on the left here, it won't give you the full schedule below. It will in the actual document, the syllabus document, but it won't below. Actually, no, it's the syllabus. I apologize. It's the syllabus on the left here. So if you go, it's actually just vice versa here. So if you go to the syllabus link on the left-hand side here, and then you scroll down, it will actually give you a course summary of everything that's due each week. So as you can see here, your first due dates are going to be the syllabus quiz that I just talked about. It's due on January 17th, again, by 11:59 p.m. Introductions. If you haven't already seen this, you could just hop on here. These are great introductions. All you have to do is hop on and submit this assignment. It says basically just, I want to get to know you a little bit. So you know a little bit about me. Now I'm asking, why are you taking this class? Do you have a certain program or interest? What did you do over the winter break? And then what is one thing about you that no one would guess? So just kind of to help us get to know each other, also to help you get to know your classmates a little bit. So that's the very first assignment, one of the first assignments that you'll do as well. And then the third assignment that's due that Tuesday is just that Respondus extra credit quiz that you can take for the Respondus Lockdown Browser and Monitor after you download it. Okay, so pretty easy, those 2 assignments. Then you can see Wednesday will be your first real quiz, the chapter 1 introduction quiz, and so on. Here, Thursday is when that time management extra credit is due. Again, this is extra credit. I put this as extra credit, but I still gave them due dates so that for those of you that are using this kind of course summary, that will remind you that that's when it's due. Okay. You can also use the calendar system on here as well. So I think the last thing that I have to show you here is where to find all of this lovely information for lecture. So you can see here I have it very organized by each lecture exam. You can open up exam 1 here, and you're going to see I have it broken down into chapters. Chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. There's each chapter, when you click on it, it will have a PowerPoint file for you to download. For these first couple chapters, because many of them are review for you, and so I know that some of you will want to move through these a little bit more quickly than others, I did provide an outline. I didn't do this for all of the lectures because, you know, if you want to create your own outline, that's probably more beneficial than me creating it for you. But I did do this for these first few review chapters to help kind of speed things up a little bit, because hopefully this is mostly review for you if you've just taken 181. So in these first few chapters, I actually have an actual outline that's just the verbiage from my slides. And then I have the visual lecture, which is just basically the visual figures from that slide, from my PowerPoint slides. I do actually have 2 different kind of postings for my YouTube lectures here. Because this is a fast track 8-week course and it goes so quick and fast and furious, what I did was I actually created kind of truncated shortened versions of the first lecture here. So I broke it up into part 1 and part 2. The first part is really going to be a lot of review material. The second part is anatomical terminology. So you may want to spend a little bit more time with that if you haven't had that. But these are kind of the shorter versions of that lecture. So I created these just for this fast track class. Now, if for some reason you have not had 181, recently, it has been forever since you've had, that, or it's been a really long time since you've taken any biology course, hop down and watch my longer versions of these lectures. I actually posted these for my my 16-week courses. So these are the same lectures, but just kind of the extended versions, okay? So fast track extended versions. And again, you just click on these and it will go ahead and pull up my YouTube. They're all in YouTube actual lecture. Okay. So there's that first one. And then after that, you're going to go ahead and just take the quiz. Okay. Again, you can see when you pull up the quiz, you can take each quiz. You get 2 attempts and it actually takes your highest score. It's not even an average, it takes your highest. Okay. So again, the goal is that you learn from those lecture quizzes. So let me go ahead and go back, and hopefully I tried to make this very easy for you to navigate around, so you can either get back to the home page or click back to exam 1 here and then go ahead and start on the next chapter. Okay. So then at the very end, everyone always asks if there is an outline. I did do some study objectives here and then a vocabulary list for each of the exams. And then for each of the exams, I will actually open up so for some, I shouldn't say for each of the exams, but for the some of the future chapters, I actually ended up deciding to put, as they kind of get more complicated, right, as we get into things like the nervous system and the muscular system, I actually ended up breaking up these objectives and posting them so that you don't have this one big long thing of objectives. I actually posted them with each chapter. So you'll find that it'll change a little bit as we go on. And again, I will send a weekly announcement to kind of remind you of when things kind of switch over like that. Okay. And then you can always get back to the homepage through here. So I believe that's it in terms of, you can go through, you'll see here that there are all kinds of resources here. I know Liz will probably talk about this, but we do have in the lab section all kinds of lovely online resources for you. So if you go to, here like Practical 1, Um, again, you have all kinds of information here that you can use for review. So again, you're going to get to see, you're going to get to use the microscopes. So you'll get very familiar with this. But then you can actually go to, there are some StudyMate flashcards and other resources for you that you can use. Actually, sorry, let me go back here and show you that first let me see, for this first practical, you'll start to see that we have some study resources for you created for the lab. So let me go to here, mitosis here. So here on the mitosis lab, you can see if you go through here, you can go through, there are these nice study resources where you can actually go through and find, you know, line and labeled slides and things like that to help you study. You can actually even print, I believe you can have these printed out like Walgreens, have it sent to Walgreens. Through here, I'm trying to remember. Oh, you can download, you know, all of them and print them, have them printed so that you can make note cards of them. So that's kind of a nice resource as well. So I think that is it. I know I tried to make this brief, but of course it's always hard to catch you up on everything, but hopefully that will help you to get started on the right foot and on the right track. If I forgot anything, please send me a question, send me your questions and let me know, and I can always do a post for everyone. Oh, one last thing. Actually, I forgot to show this to my WebEx group. We do have a discussion board for this course. So here's the discussions. This is actually where you're going to post your articles, and it actually will be where I post my articles as well. And then you can see actually the introductions are linked here as well. So you guys can see, you know, read each other's introductions. And then some of these are, sorry about this, some of these are old. I'll have to remove these, but I'll create a new one here for us that will be for all of the article reviews. And so you'll see that tomorrow show up for you. All right, so I think that is everything that I have for this introduction. Again, I really look forward to getting to know you all virtually, and I am very approachable, so please send me your questions. All right, that's it.